When I was a little girl, Spider-Man was my hero. Flying past tall buildings and gliding past shiny cars. If I attempted this, I'd be seeing stars. When I try to be strong like Spider-Man, I feel frozen, from dark shadows crawling through my skin. The frozen fear I felt when my newborn baby brother melted in my arms, his stringy, thin strands of hair, ornate details decorating his tiny little fingers and toes, flowers of small red dots, dried up tears, boogers, and snot. He was a porcelain vase. I clasped his hands and he clasped mine, his bubblegum toothless grin smiling, his thick long lashes fluttering like a dark brown moth. A web of inexplicable love formed in my heart. The first year of his life was a game of chutes and ladders. Trying to figure out why he was crying sent me back to math class solving y equals x and math problems so complex it made my head twirl. But as he grew, so did I. I realized that sometimes babies cry for no apparent reason. This just made our connection deepen. I learned to love his quirks and imperfections, his determination as he lined up his Spider-Man toys. Those toys received more affection than me. Physical touch wasn't his love language, that I can guarantee, but a hug wasn't what we need. We had different goals, because he filled up any empty space with his happy babbles, constructing elaborate webs of thoughts only his brain can detangle, all the knots of stress cut free with his joyful squeals. Flash forward. My baby brother grew 18 months old, and my parents sat me down to tell me about his diagnosis. It was something deeper than what the eye could catch, something that abruptly jumped into my world in just a flash. A few months prior, I was in my room watching TV when I heard my mom scream, her eyes panicky, my stomach twisted. She was holding up my brother's head. "Call the hospital," she said. Boiling tears seeped down my cheeks. The rest of the night was blurry streaks. I remember my mother rushing to the hospital. I remember the tick-tock of the crooked clock. I remember my stomach spinning like a carousel, feeling spider legs inch up my back. I remember the delicate porcelain that made up my brother cracked. I couldn't be his Spider-Man, even with his safety at stake. I tried to stand up straight, but my legs were as thin as spider's silk. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The only thing keeping me company was that callous clock. Finally, I got the call. It was a seizure in the hospital. He had 4 more. A silk thread weaved through my brain and tangled together. So they drugged him up until I couldn't recognize his cry. I watched as my baby brother transformed from squealing toddler to mindless zombie. The meds made his mind wander. I'd be talking to him, but he'd be in wonderland. I couldn't grasp what was happening. I couldn't understand. The thought of him hurting burned like a red, round spider bite. I can't stop scratching. Then I saw his goofy grin again, a crooked smile decorated with a chipped front tooth. A glimmer of hope fought away my fear. I don't need to be dressed in blue and red. I don't need to pretend that he can always depend on me. All I needed to do was love him more than my biggest hero.